Alright, I think we got it figured out. Got to get it tacked in there first. Rainstorms have blown through, weather's looking a little bit better, birds are out, sun's shining. Looks like it's going to be a nice evening, a little humid, but that's okay, the rain let out. It was quite the downpour, I tell you what, and we was just on the outskirts of it. But anyway, nevertheless, so I had a customer bring in this, it's a little Kubota tractor. I'll show it to you here in just a second. Looks like exhaust welds had broke, one of the support welds had broke, and it eventually just rattled out of the muffler. Customer called, priced a new muffler. Pretty salty for what it was. Learned about me from a neighbor of his. He said, you know, hey, give this guy a call, go see what he can do for you. So that's how I ended up with this little project here. So all I got to do is, I've already got the parts cleaned up. I got to get them tacked back in place, get some weld put around it, and then we're going to call this project good. But let me show you what's going on. Shout out to the guy that owns this tractor. Actually, I just met him for the first time. He owns right up the road. So very cool place. If you guys haven't been there, I highly recommend going up there. And they got a winery, they got a brewery, it's very laid back, they got fire rings, they just got stuff going on all the time, weekend concerts. I mean, it's quite a cool place, and Larry has done a phenomenal job in constructing all those buildings back there. So highly recommend it. Right down here in Martinsville, Indiana. So check them out if you haven't already. If you know them, give them a like. All right, enough of that. Let's get to work. Just as a precaution, we're going to disconnect the battery first, just so that there's no problem there. Get this thing tacked up. The wind's picking up. That's going to make it a challenge. Make it a little bit of a challenge. Alright, I think we got it figured out. Got to get it tacked in there first, then I'm going to have to remove the exhaust, we'll call it the tip. Then I should be able to get around it and weld it right back in. So, tack first. Power first. Works if you got a ground. Get that off there. Hard to go. I think that's enough for me to weld it though. Gotta finish that top side. One little tiny hole. All right, clean that up just a little bit. Kind of embarrassing. We'll finish up. Last little weld that I can put on. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get enough of it to be sufficient. Hit it with some Rust-Oleum clear coat, ceramic coating. That's what I had. I was looking for my exhaust paint, but I couldn't find it. First little project of the evening done. See if we can move it out of the way and move the golf cart up here. I'll give the customer a call for this one right here. Alright. Time for the bumper fixed. Out to Springcliff Farm. Vince and Christine. They own a horse boarding business just up the road from me. Take care of pregnant horses. That's about all I know of it. And they've been really good to my son over the years. So Really appreciate them and the work. Next step, straighten this piece out. Move you guys over here. All right, good enough. Guess you can see that. Made this tool here. Hopefully I get it hot enough I can get a bite on it. I'll be able to pull that thing down, so we'll see. I did it. About the same now. We'll put something on them and find out. Alright, it's got to come down more. Get that. 10.8. How about that? Alright, little wire brush. There was paint after it cools down. Alrighty, got that piece straightened out. Work on bolting this stuff back together. Alright, good to go. One more thing to do. I'm not going to have the time to get to it tonight. This piece here was busted off in the accident. This piece here is busted off in the accident. So what I got to do is disconnect this and slide it off there, and I'm just going to do probably like a fiberglass repair there. Re-drill the hole, relocate it. This thing will be fixed. Alright, I got to thinking about it, and I thought, you know what, I need this fiberglass to set up. It needs to have time to set up. So I'm going to go ahead and start prepping it. I'm going to go ahead and try to do the repair tonight. That way it has all night to cure. I got to see how long it's supposed to take for full cure. I'm hoping by midday tomorrow, this thing will be ready to sand down, do a little touch up. I don't know if I'll paint it, because if you paint that spot, you got to paint the whole thing. We'll see. I don't have any of this, what looks to be like an off-white or sun-bathed off-white or whatever it is. But the goal is to get it fixed. Most of the piece is still here. So I should be able to get that all back in there. First step is I got to clean it. After this thing is all cured and set up, I figure out how I'm going to finish it out, maybe with some off-white paint or something. I don't know how I'm going to color it yet. Hopefully I'll get it back together tomorrow morning, although I'm working outside and there's like a 95% chance of rain tomorrow, so that may slow the process down, and I'll have to try to catch an open window to reassemble this thing. So the goal is to get it knocked out or finished up tomorrow, get it back to the customer, and we'll move on to the next project. All right, we're going to let that dry. Sand this little piece just so that it has something. This is like a little puzzle piece. Yeah, it's a little cracked, but the fiberglass I needed reinforcement. Chamfer the edges a little bit. That way that stuff's got a place to go. Good enough for me. Alright, what we're going to probably do is tape this in place from one side and then fiberglass. That makes the most sense to me. I gotta find my tape. You guys can see that. Move you in a little closer. All right, next step, cut some pieces that are big. Everybody, back at it again, new day. I'm going to check out the fiberglass work I did on the instrument cluster last night. It should be set up. I reread what was on the bottle because I couldn't remember. It's like 2 hours at 75 degrees, but it's had all night to cure, even in cooler temperatures, so we should be good to go there. So let's see how it turned out. Alright, get this taped off. We're going to trim out around that. I'm going to save that on-off sticker, so try to. See how we're making some progress here. Now we'll have some pits and holes to fill in. Normally you would like try to Bondo those. I'm going to try to do it with some high fill primer for what it is. And we'll hand sand all that off and see how it does. I think I'm going to go ahead and sand this whole thing down, probably with a finer grit. That'll get rid of this faded finish. I hope it don't ruin it, and then I'll just probably paint the whole thing. Alrighty. Take the edges off there. Wipe it down, blow it off. Next step, primer over that. Let it dry, more sanding. Dust out of them little bubbles and pores, fiberglass. We'll let that completely dry. Kind of see what's going on here. Don't look that bad. Probably sand a little more there, but I think we're in good shape. Kind of force dry this in front of the heat. Alright, let's tape off an area. We don't want to get primer all over the whole thing. We got fiberglass hairs from last night. Alright, we're all shook up. No pun intended. Oh yeah, we got some holes in there. So it says, shake can vigorously, check. Hold 12 to 16 inches, close enough. Dry and recoat times, that's what we want. 70 to 50%, relative humidity, blah, blah, blah. So I got a 10-minute window. I can recoat pretty quick. Alright, put like 2 more light coats on it, force drying it, baking it, we'll call it whatever you want. Let that cure or set up a little bit. I'm going to go back, wet sand it. I think I am going to mix up just a touch of Bondo or body filler, and then we'll finish it off with that. Probably 1 coat of that should do it, fill in the small pits. And then we'll wet sand it some more and start hitting it with the satin and see how it turns out. Alright, did a touch of sanding on it. I'll wipe it down one more time. Let that dry, get my Bondo mixed up. Maybe. Then we can get to adding what's needed. Alright, let that dry. We get this stuff mixed up. This is some old Bondo, so we'll see. There's probably enough to do the, there should be enough in here to do the job. Find me something to scoop that out with. Table down here where I'm going to mix it up at. Said I don't need a whole lot, so just make sure we got more than enough. Alright, I think it's dry enough to do some sanding. Alright, I think I've got it. I'm going to go ahead and hit it with some finer grit sandpaper. Wipe it down, tape it off. At least primer the area. I'm going to let that dry a little bit. Probably wet sand it. And then I'll come back. Probably rough the whole thing up. And then just paint the whole thing. So I think that's what we're going to do. wet sanding. Got some 320 grit here. Oh, had some 320 grit. Oh, there we go.